Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to take a look at BFB. We haven't talked with BFB in quite a while, but basically all you need to know is that when this actually comes through, like what is it like to be like right there. So when we have this discussion about like the occult and spiritual crimes against humanity, and we talk about what's obscured, and we talk about all these things. I'm gonna just move my camera down a little bit. But when I see it and I go, there really is like something to it where you can't actually see like anything that is like coming to you or towards you. You can't even feel it, and it feels counterintuitive, and maybe it isn't counterintuitive. You had to say is a foregoing of own. So when you forego your own, like you actually can't do anything or anything of that nature. So like what would we need to know right now? Basically what we need to know for the next week at least as current events and like daily life play out is like something that like all is known, but like I wasn't known, like I didn't know that. And that one kind of hurts. Sometimes the universe actually can like obscure you, and obscure you, even the best of the best psychics, and to the magicians, to the witches, because they're not to know it for their own health, welfare, and safety. It looks like you're crazy, and it looks like absolute nonsense to like what it's in obscurity, but then all of a sudden like an offer comes in, and something could be young and it could be like new and it could be old or like reoccurring. What when it comes to like something of like the best of the best or like anything of that matter, with the Knight of Pentacles like is like a solid offering. It's so concrete. So I look at this and I see the Page of Wands and I see this and like absolute like necessity that you actually can't even do. You have to say like with the Tower card in reverse, there's something like of like a snuff out that caused like a type of chaos. Excuse me. And it caused like a lot of isolations. When you see this and you go judgment, that you can't actually like do anything, like it's like really bad judgment to like your eyes, to your actual nasal cavities, to your like your nose. So when I see this and I see the Nine of Pentacles, you really have to be more prudent than usual. When you see this and you see the King of Pentacles in reverse, you have to say something was like really nasty to a type of greed. So when I see the Four of Pentacles in reverse, like I'm looking at securement, I'm looking at jobs, I'm looking at like anything to retirements, to being seen out in the community today was like alimony or anything of that matter. Like you couldn't even believe it how unsecure everything is. So I look at this and I go, looking at this at like a point of show, there's no victory writing in because it's illogic. Illogic literally means like when you look at it as a magician, because they're like we're really good at anatomy and physiology, like retaining knowledge. Like you go and you see this and you go, there's something wrong with the frontal lobe, there's something wrong with the left parietal lobe. And then when you look at this and you go, there's something in the back of the mind, like what's in the subconscious. So when you look at the subconscious and you go, there's something of like a going out to town, and you can't do it all. So when you see this and you look at this and you say the King of Cups in reverse, there's no attunement to alignment. So when there's no alignment even in your car to even where your chakras are, you're not going to. That is where they're talking about this like rooting and like planting and like sitting down and like clearing and cleansing yourself and all forms of the meaning down to your diet, because something is just not clear. So then if you like you can't even smell that, like you're like, no, I can't smell that, there's something wrong. So then you actually have to sit down and you go, the Two of Pentacles means that down to like walking, down to walking. So when I see this, lastly with this deck, the Eight of Pentacles There's no skill. So then that reminds me of like how I was in an LPN at at a facility out here. That when it comes down to insurance and it goes down to like insurance and skills and stuff like that. Like, what is the skill for nursing? Like, my skill would be like inserting a Foley catheter and maintaining it because the patient can't maintain it themselves safely. So that is a skill. And then down to medication administration, down to like antibiotic or vaccine administration, stuff like that. Like, because they can't do it on their own because they're not of clear senses because they're sick and injured. That is how like bad the insurance dictates. So then they're like, "How dare you? How dare you? No, I'm clear. I'm good." And you go like, "There's something else like going on." Are they being counterintuitive? Like they're not even making sense. That's the Ace of Cups in reverse. So that's when endings occur. This is a death card. So right now, as like magicians and witches and anything of that matter, anything of like religious aspect, they're looking at like, where is this ending coming in? Because intuitively we're sitting not right and we're kind of fidgety. Alrighty, let's go to the Starseed Oracle. What do we need to know? All right, trust the wave you come in. Time is not running out. That literally means like action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. That's counterintuitive. So trust the wave you come in. There's something of a wave, like I'm seeing something like a Spotify wave, radio wave, multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. Yeah, there's something about like a few people in the universal collective that stand out. When you see this nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest, there's something about it where they literally have to say, like, they're able-bodied, but they're not able-bodied, or something like that. They're highly gifted. They really don't ask for much or anything like that. So when I see this and I see potential bringing unconsciousness to light, there's something about like the awakening, the ascension, the 3D, the 5D, like the full like onboarding on everything about this. So when I see this and I see Star Brothers, like Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust, there's something about knowing that like people are a little bit more protection than what they are used to. Light worker, starseed, serving the world by being you. Yeah, there's something about being their true selves and not acting. And then lastly, with this Hadarian energy, that goes with like Horus energy, codependency, boundaries. There's something about watching over because there's already known it would happen. So when I look at this and I'm seeing Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing, you have to go all the way right down to mountain. That's why this whole thing with holistic versus holistic, one with the W, one with the H, and one is the FDA and the CDC and the DPH. The other is like Reiki and alternative methods of therapy. Where medical marijuana lands, it really is more on the DPH side because you've got to have an MPI number to actually like give that medical guard. Here it is. Literary Witches Oracle. What else do we need to know? Something about money and status complacency. There's something of it like rowing in and rolling in. And something about like story. Something about story that you just actually can't even see yet. Here it is. There's something about rabbit, something about phone, like mediumship. They're bringing out the flora and the fauna party, something like where 1800s and 1900s come in. Very about Getty and Astor. There's something about like gold coins on the table. That's like the candelabra. There's something about like a masquerade ball. Masquerade ball comes in, and like like you like all of a sudden like mediumship, they block it. They block it. So when you see snail and you see the body, there's something about like really hard energy when they do this occult magic or anything of that matter. That because when I see gold coins, I'm like, oh, that's occulted. So that's occulted times one. And then like 3 coins is occulted times 3 to 32 times. So do you see where it's going? So if I see one gold coin, it's only occulted times one. It's probably going to take you 220 years to actually get it out and break it in magic to any curse, spell, or hex, because everything is about chemistry. So when I see this and I see fate, and then I see the subconscious, like there's something about the back of the head locked. So when I see this and I see the teacup and I see the intellect, I don't know why, but like there's something about drinking tea that makes some people feel better. When you see this white dress, it's about appearances. And when you see this and you see like the moon, you have to say, something about illusion, old wounds, something about like mystery. Hedgehog, and last word is a loss. There's something about like a knowing of a loss. And when you see this and you see healing, and you see bravery, and you see perspective, you go, there's like something else, like opposing views. When you look into the mirror, I'm seeing like Snow White and the apple, and like going towards Prince Charming, and then going towards Prince Charming, and then like something else, and you're seeing like the animals. There's something odd about Disney. So let's go into like Disney. What do we need to know about Disney? Because there's something about like the Great Expanse and how we were talking last night on another show about Skinwalker Ranch. All right, sound codex. I'm hearing radio waves. I'm seeing the radios with Disney. Something about calling it in 1948, and then when you see Sion timeline done, like it, like there was like a word that like escalated something through, and then you had Disneyland and Disney World. Something about Star Family. They're like more like crystal children post World War. Set your vibration. Definitely frequency and hertz. They can hear through, and then you go right up to like the Unabomber and Ted Kaczynski, and why we have NTSB regulations. So then when you see this and you see service and you see imagination, like everyone thinks they're lying when like law enforcement and military like go up to you and they're like, no, you can't do that. They're like, no, I can do this, I can do this. And no, it's okay. They're like, no, really, you can't do that. And something goes on. So when I see this and I see Pakal's tomb, and I see Dreamtime, and I see light language, literally like they can like induce dreams with certain radio waves and frequency waves. That's why everyone was freaking out by the cell towers. They're like, what is this emitting out? When you see this, you see planetary guardian, and you see telepathy. Like they're like, no, I'm from like a past life and I'm from here and I can see this. And they're like, are you sure about that? Are you seeing straight? So then you look at it and you go, Star Royalty? Yep, they have entitlements. So then it comes in and you can actually see it sometimes, the radio waves. depending on a good night and a bad night. Alrighty, what does this have to do with Disney? What does this have to do with like everything that's going on today? Animal Spirit Oracle. There's something about movement on and movement of cold and gold. I'm hearing wind waves and radio waves and all going through. So when radio waves actually go through cold wind, and when they go through cold wind, it actually is like spurs. So people actually get like a kick up of a tick up, and they actually will go do something. Just always remind you, like it'll go right through you, the wind. You didn't catch it. And that's when it actually gets kind of locked in you, that black egg. So when you see this and you see like peacock and just divine splendor, like craving or anything of nature, something rare, they'll actually do it. So you see this and like, where did this come out of you? Why did you do this? And you're like, well, I don't know. I mean, I just felt like I had to do it. And you go, when you see octopus and you go like firefly and then you go eagle, there's something like about military and Middle East with Disney. When I see this and I see zebra and I see cosmic egg and I see hummingbird, something about the flora and fauna again parties, something about documents and like being written. When you see hawk, more of like strong Native American. All I hear is Gold Coast, 1928, Gold Coast, when I see Florida, about Native American and Disney. Here it is. There's a type of recklessness. There's like a looking into it. And then when you see it, it's like chaotic. Like you can't even believe how chaotic it is. So when you see this and you see the Ace of Wands and you see like the High Priest in reverse, the High Priestess, there's something about hidden motives. There's something of a lack of star. It's not exactly what people wanted. Like I didn't sign up for this. I'm looking for like the big shut off and the like the bang and like everything. This is the Ace of Swords. Whatever you were thinking about, it's confirmed. When you see this and you see the death and the rebirth, there was such a large cut on many people's lives over the last 4 years. Like done, that you can't even believe who you did it to. Can't even believe it. When you see this and you see the Three of Cups and you see the Sun and you see like the Nine of Cups, you can't even believe, like you can't even get together and celebrate about something. So when you see this and you see the Knight of Cups and you look at the King of Wands, you can't actually do it. There's something of like honorable. There's something about like a renewal and renewal. There's something about like coming forward and like doing it in a way that it should be. And when it comes through, like it's such a rush of emotions that you can't even see it coming. When you see this and you see the wheel in reverse, you can't complete a cycle. So when you see the Queen of Swords, which this woman right here in the card, she represents a lot of knowledge and intellect and logic. It goes to like a counterintuitive measure when it comes to that type of air energy of swift. So the Six of Swords, again, air energy, it's a type of move on. It's a type of move on. So when I see this and I see the Ten of Swords, you can't even believe the finality of relief of everything, of what is to actually like come. So when you see this and like you see the sunset and you're like, is it done yet? It's not. But how does that like do with Disney? it really is like going on your own and like having this fun. And when you have this fun, like you can't even like go on and do anything of that nature or measure. So let's look at this. So as you stay at the park all day, you did it on your own, you did it on your own free will accord, and you just can't get it done. So there's something about a gift when it comes to like Disney. There's something about like everything that is supposed to be right there. So when I look at it and I go, like there was something of like nastiness where I can't even actually like get it out on how nasty it actually was. Like night, gift, fate. There's something at night that's given back to a lot of people that you just can't understand. Like, why are you here? So when you see this, I'm actually seeing a lake. I'm seeing like that, like when I see this, like during the daytime, I'm seeing all eyes and ears and watching. I'm seeing like trees. I'm seeing the Palisades. When I see this and I see defense, when I see freeze, when you see instinct, when you see wealth, there's something of a freeze of the wealth. So I'm saying that at some point, as they've talked about in the underground patriot movement, as it like links through Disney and stuff like that, there's something that Walt Disney saw and actually secured something down to the mouse ears. Down to the mouse ears, you actually couldn't even see on your own. And when you couldn't see on your own, you couldn't even be on your own, which means you always got to ride together. So when you ride together, you actually can't even see a soon or a see you later because once it's there, you can't even do it. You can't even believe it. There's some people who always have to be together, no matter what. No matter what. So when I see it and he made it like like it must be accompanied. Like there's a reason why. Is there a hidden game? I'm not really seeing this hidden game that actually comes in or something unknown, but there is something about the warrior that keeps coming out, the warrior. And when you see this and you see the havoc, when you see yeah, like Eurus, and you see, like Taurus, like there was a party. There's like a party where they're like, yeah, no, go for it, right? Right. And then you go about your day like I wasn't aware of that. How come? So when you see this and you look like Othala, heritage, culture, it brings it all the way back. There's something about Walt Disney and there's something about current day events that has to do with heritage and culture. It really is something of like the way certain Native American tribes could do a cut on you. So when you do this and you go collecting, and it could be monetary, it could be like going about and collecting energy, or you're like going through anything, something about a rebirth. So when I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a wheel of luck, that's all it was yesterday. Was there something about a wheel of luck that turns and churns out down to the bread and butter. So the last few runes here, there's a few. Hi Maria. So something about living strength, joy at night. There's something about like how people are really happy at um something about being like really being happy alone. Let's see, there's a question right here. Wondering will yeah, a couple things. Maria. I'm not seeing, but I'm seeing it's malleable, and I'm seeing that it is like the separation is like malleable. It's natural. It's something that had happened, and when it happened, like I'm seeing like a tear, and when I see a tear, I actually see like could be like a torn meniscus. It could be like a torn like tendon or ligament. It actually was so like physical to like you wouldn't believe how like physical injuries can actually cause like separations and divorces and ending of relationships. So when you actually look at it, Maria, I'd have to say like what I'm hearing through the universe for you is like just like sit and try to get well. Try to be like as your own self and like showing how you can bounce back. And it is not a dig towards the other person. Excuse me. But I'll pull a couple cards for you. What do we need to know for Maria in this relationship? I'm just seeing sitting next to her in like friends, something about friends. There. There's something about like something dishonorable happened. There's something about a long pause that happened. There's something about it like it wasn't manifested, like you like both didn't want this. And then when I see this and I look at this, like there's like eyes wide shut, like a blindfold. Something like hostile or hostage. So when I see this and I see Page of Swords, it came in swiftly. You could actually like I see like walking and like walking to like a grocery store and like they heard it through the wind, they caught wind. And when they see this, like it doesn't make sense to nobility. That's what the energy is saying. There's something about a lockdown too. There's something that was not said, like about a lockdown in the community. There's something about like a new journey, a new beginning, like recklessness. Yeah, fighting a lot in the last days. Yeah, I'm feeling like there was like a normal, like a breakthrough to a break out, and like gotta get out. And then when I see this, and it alludes right here, the Lover's card, like that's where it actually like tore and like um severed. He looked at other woman. The way I would say it was not for like justifiable pose, like because I'm seeing legal with it. But when I actually see legal with it, I actually see like you couldn't actually like you couldn't actually do. There's something about move on, but I'm actually seeing like calmer waters, and it doesn't make sense whatsoever. There's something of like a new like hard like beginning, like a new spark. It's something that's happened like in that area before. There's something about like arson or something like that, and I see this, it has to do with like legal and judicial and military. Something about contractual, and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing like paperwork flipping. I'm seeing like money bills. Uh, I'm seeing like the energy. So like in 2 to 5 years, 2 to 5 months. Something about in 2 to 3 days. Something about like a sword. I'm seeing like a sword actually come down, and like in a 9 to 19 years, this is odd. So when I actually say it, I say, wait a minute, wait a minute. There's something like it really, really does hurt, but there's something about like alleviation of poverty or the alleviation of money. There was like no getting together, like there's no celebration whatsoever about like a service to oneself, a service like an old um like I'm seeing somebody like around them like it didn't matter like it was like Good Samaritan. It was like it really it was okay. I hear not safe, not safe, not safe. You gotta let it rest, let it rest, let it rest, let me rest, let me rest. And when you see it and you see temperance, it had to do with balance. Like I'm actually seeing some people like walking in the area like they couldn't walk well. Something about theft. When I see this, like it's odd to a 3 to a 9 to a time on the clock to like 9 people. When I see this, like absolutely like discontented, absolutely discontented. When I see this, like no wheel of luck. So like in us, like when we're all connected to the universe, when the universe actually does something and it's really like hard and heinous, like you actually can't like do it really really hard. So when it's the wheel of fortune, like you're not going to be able to like do anything. There's something about GI tract, like actual like burn victim. It's odd. I hadn't seen it in like years. There's something highly dictative and written after smoking. There's something about like inheritance and land and property. I don't know why like tariff actually disturbs me. Ill justice, like doing it on their own way because they've had enough. to a moving on to a walking away. So what I'm seeing more is that it is a turning point. It is a walking away. There is like something about like a promotion. There's something about securing like a job. There's something about like that. But I'm actually really not seeing like hard. There's something like long. And that's all you need to know. All you need to know is like with the Ace of Pentacles, there's something about job. There's something about job. That's all you need to know. It gives a lot of anxiety, but just give it time and let it rest. Let it rest. I feel like there's a lot of places out here in America that it actually happened to. You can't even make it up. All right, what else do we need to know? Going back to where I was. Nine of Cups in reverse. There's something around like January 9th. There's like no emotions offered for a lot of people. Eight of Pentacles. Seeing eyes like money on the table. I'm seeing like Nine of Pentacles in reverse. There's something like no prudency in it. Five of Wands. You can't give a gift, but you can be a pay. And then you see this, and you go like the Four of Cups in reverse. It's not so like stone cold apathy, like stone faced. When you see this, the moon, like you're not supposed to know about it, certain things, because of like there's HIPAA, there's privacy laws, there's like investigations, there's like certain things that you just can't even do. When you look at this and you go, like the Nine of Cups, and you go the Five of Swords, like you can't actually make it up. And you're like, I'm not making up, like it really is true. And then like, well, maybe you should go here. Maybe I use my intuition and instinct. So that's where I'm seeing like the fire up with like ice. Well, when I see with ice in the protest, I'm actually seeing like the smoke of Tokahokaloke, where they're actually like something with the e-cigarette, something about freezing. So when I look at it and I go like Queen of Pentacles, there's something about sitting well. Like I'm seeing people sit in their house and universal precautions, and like I'm actually doing okay. I'm really doing okay. When I look at it and I see the Hierophant, it's so dictative to a type of source. Like no, you must do it. And I'm like no. The Queen of Cups means you got to use your intuition and your intellect and everything and your instinct on when to actually seek help. So when you actually look at it and someone says, okay, for the insurance, you're really not showing any cold symptoms, you're not showing any injuries, there's really nothing wrong with you, but you have to go back 8 times, then you have to say, then there's something wrong because I'm still not right. So when I look at it and I see the Three of Pentacles, there's something about working together. There's a collaboration. There's like a teamwork that I'm seeing like in the month of February, like mid-February, like 8 to 9 people working together, sitting at a table. When you see this and you see the Ace of Swords, it is so like illogic. You're like, are you seeing right? And you go, yeah, like I'm seeing right. And you go, with the King of Pentacles, there's something about like good offering in. When you see this and you see the Six of Cups, it's happened before. It's happened before in communities. They're not seeing it right. They're not seeing it straight, to where their senses are clogged. So I look at this and I see the Eight of Wands, the type of communication, all forms of communication, even speaking low to the world, it completes a cycle. And that's all you really need to know. Seven of Cups, energy of the deck, it really goes on. It's like to a type of show. When it goes into a type of show, you actually can't even like do it hard enough. All right. Black Obsidian Runes. All right. Again, is looking for flow, like water signs, something about water signs, something about strong, something about like collecting clean water. I'm not seeing the mineral deal. I'm saying about like water, like going on the Gulf Coast. Something about the Gulf Coast. I'm seeing the oil tanker. Something about like they had a conversation on the oil tanker, and when they had the oil tanker come in, they actually like had this conversation about water and about the mineral deal. So I'm going back to like the mineral deal about where our vice president's wife was talking about this contract about it, and it was a good deal. There's something like hidden game. I keep hearing Perth, havoc. I see like soul, which means solidarity. I'm seeing wealth, type of wealth, instinct. Something about like drinking like up to propel, and then you see the windmills and like I don't know why that bothers me. So when you see warrior, something about Colombia, they drinking some water that they are not supposed to. When I look at this and I see trolling, like I haven't seen it like the energy down here, like it, at the North State Hospital. There's something about it where it goes like this, and like it keeps turning out, and then when they do it, it's like old Appalachia, and then they throw it into like witchcraft. All right, joy. Wheel of luck. Something about February 12th to the 19th. Alrighty, and that's really all we need to know. But when it comes to actually the conversation of the of magicians, of witchcraft, and anything about spiritual crimes, when it comes to that, it is a spiritual crime against humanity. Because when you boil it down to simple like criminal activity, and when that happens, like they can do the most insane things about with e-cigarette, and they can do a lot of other things that you just can't even hear or like you can't speak of because you can't say it, and it's not because it's classified because you can't believe that they did it and it worked. So with that being said, that's all you need to know. With any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.